Excellencies, Presidents, Excellencies, Presidents, dear friends, colleagues, I'm welcoming you to another one-hour lecture on global health. Don't leave the room, the doors are closed, no way to escape. And I begin by introducing the famous M8 Alliance, and afterwards a surprise for some of you. And the M8 Alliance, if I can see the slide coming, technology and everything works perfect at the World Trade Summit, as you know. That is the introduction to the change of presidency. As you know, we are not waiting for presidents to come. We elect our own presidents. Makes it much easier, and you always have nice people to deal with. And some of those who are following German politics, now you see what happens if there's a democratic vote on presidency. So there's no way to vote for you. Presidents have already been decided. How is that being done? By the M8 Alliance. Next slide. Is somebody moving the slides? So the M8 Alliance, for those who are new, was founded in the year 2009 when we organized the first World Trade Summit. And this was because the president of the G8 Summit of Head of States, at that time, Chancellor Angela Merkel, she tried to introduce health as a topic on the G8 summits of the heads of state, and she introduced health, and then she found out that the other presidents did not follow her ideas. And then she said, "Dear Detlef," actually she didn't say "Dear Detlef," she said "Mr. Ganten, why don't you create the M8 Alliance?" And what we did was, of the G8 countries, that is some of the important countries, rich countries in the world, identify some of the important academic health centers, and then group them together, and then make recommendations to the G8 summits of heads of state that health should stay on the agenda. So we started with 8, and then we went on and had 20. Now we have 25 major academic health centers all around the world. I'm not losing time to tell you all, but you can see them on the slide. In order to be influential, in addition to these academic health centers and their deans, we had the idea, and it was proposed, to include all national academies of sciences and medicine around the world. And that is all countries which, within scientific infrastructure, have an Academy of Science or Medicine, or Science and Medicine. Okay? And these actually, by raison d'être, have the duty to counsel their own government. And they actually have their own G8, G20 group counseling their own governments, and then the heads of state of the G8, G20 process. So this was the way to make the M8 Alliance one of the most important health associations around the world. Of course, we closely collaborate with WHO, it's also very important. United Nations is also very important. UNESCO is also very important. They may be even more important than we are, but we cooperate and we kind of form a network and introduce health as an important topic. Next one shows you, because we work in complete transparency, and this is the General Assembly of the M8 Alliance of the session which we had on Saturday. And on Saturday, we took several decisions, and one of the decisions was who should be the next president. And we always have an international president or presidents, and together with the international president goes a great pleasure which they can have during their presidency, and that is organize, next slide please, organize, in addition to the October World Trade Summit in Berlin, World Trade Summit regional meetings. And these regional meetings go around the world, and with every regional meeting is going together the presidency of this meeting and then presidency of the year. So this year, and as you can see, in April 2018, we had the regional meeting of the World Trade Summit in Coimbra. And now I'm going to ask the presidents of the M8 Alliance from Portugal on stage, Fernando and João. João, being the president of Coimbra University, is going to tell you about Coimbra University, and Fernando is head of the hospital of Coimbra. And João, why don't you tell us a little bit about Coimbra University and hospital? Just a brief introduction.
Well, good afternoon to everyone. It's been a real pleasure for the University of Coimbra and Coimbra Hospital to be a part of this movement that addresses such a central issue in our society. Coimbra is a very old university with more than 7 centuries of age, and we always try to, otherwise we would not be here anymore, we always try to find or to understand what are the society needs at one point, and certainly global health is one of the issues that have to be tackled currently. So it's really a pleasure. It was a great pleasure to receive many of you in Coimbra last April, and I obviously hope that the next event in Kish Island will also be a great moment, as this one is being a great moment to find new ways to understand each other and find new ways to tackle the issues of global health. Thank you.
I also have some ones for me later on. Okay. Dear Dent Ganten, dear João Silva, dear Ali Jafarian, dear Amir Takian, Julian, Jorg, all staff, dear guests, to all of you, I asked Dent Ganten to speak a couple of minutes, in this session to say the following. M8 Alliance and WHS are into the eye of the hurricane. And to justify why, let me start. We live in a land borrowed from our children. Sioux people told that. Thus, every generation has the duty to adding something more and better to the heritage that previous generations have entrusted to us. It's also our duty to incorporate in our mind Saint-Exupéry's thinking when he said, if I am different from you, I do not hurt you with my difference. I just add something to you. I help you to grow. With these duties and vision of a heart as a common house of humankind, we easily arrive to the foundations and goals of M8 Alliance and the World Health Summit, and elect 3 main challenges: fighting against fragmentation, convince policymakers they should anticipate the needs of the future of humankind and Earth as a whole, and the third, to promote education for health, to keep alive and effective the achievements, namely on public health. In conclusion, the main challenge is to reach a global vision for a global health. For us, for all of us, surely, that's the unique way to miss the future. In a poor translation of the Portuguese, saudades do futuro, maybe from the French, manquer l'avenir, maybe from the Spanish, tener en cuenta el futuro, maybe in German, that's the point. Sehnsucht nach der Zukunft. Do please have a pleasant future. We will meet here and anywhere on our global world with a global health vision. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fernando.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now I'm sure it's no surprise to you that the new president of the M8 Alliance is Ali Jafarian from the Tehran Medical University, one of the top universities, of course, not only in Tehran, in Iran, in the world. Ali, please come, and his friend and collaborator, Amir. Okay. And now comes the symbolic le bâton. Le bâton is a French word for the insignia of presidency and the M8 Alliance, and the baton now goes from Coimbra University, Portugal, to Tehran University, Ali Jafarian and Amir. Picture. Picture. Okay.
Thank you.
And now I'm sure you want to say a few words. Yeah, okay.
This bottom is so heavy, so I got my dear colleague Amir to take it.
Give it for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, friends, the Global Health Family gathering in Berlin for World Health Summit 2018, and the ones not present here, good evening. As we all know, health as a political choice is one of the essential global needs. That's why it is the goal number 3 of Sustainable Development Goals approved by more than 190 member states in the United Nations. Thanks to Dr. Detlef Ganten and his brilliant WHS team Berlin, World Health Summit and its 10th anniversary is becoming an effective medium for bringing together the academia, policymakers, industry, and civil society to attract attention on health promotion with a global viewpoint and set global health agenda. So, congratulations to the pioneer of this initiative, Detlef Ganten. And of course, that's why working actively as a surgeon whose job is a subspecialty, like liver transplantation, now I am an advocate of global health. On the 40th anniversary of Iran's revolution, which coincides with the 40th anniversary of the Alma-Ata Declaration on Primary Health Care, on behalf of the health community of Iran, and especially the big family of Tehran University of Medical Sciences, and its 168th birthday, it gives me a great honor and pleasure to invite you all to join us in Kish Island, the jewel of the Persian Gulf and one of the most spectacular coral islands in the world, to hold together a memorable 7th WHS regional meeting on 29 and 30 April 2019. This is the first WHS meeting in this region, happening in the spring, when the pleasant weather and scenery landscape will make you fascinated, and you will find the ancient civilization of thousands of years, historically known as Persia, a memorable place, especially with the characteristic Iranian hospitality, which is worldwide famous. You are invited to travel to my country, which is a global example of reaching out communities in primary health care, has unique health governance integrating medical education into service for the last 3 decades, and of course blossoming increasingly despite 4 decades of various unfair sanctions. One aspect that will make the upcoming WHS regional meeting the special one is various global health challenges that are faced in this region. The area is the host of almost half of the global refugees and migrants population, the place of many natural and man-made disasters in a very complicated geopolitical situation that make achieving sustainable development goals more challenging and cumbersome. Fortunately, Iran has the ongoing health transformation plan since 2014 towards UHC and the National Action Plan for Prevention and Control of NCDs. Both are globally recognized by the WHO and the UN. Moreover, Tehran University of Medical Sciences has hosted 2 international conferences on SDGs in the course of the last 3 years. In that context, building upon the previous WHS regional meetings, the current global health agenda, and regional priorities, and in collaboration with WHS and M8 Alliance, we have created an interesting and attractive agenda for the upcoming regional meeting in Iran. You can have these brochures on your tables, and it would be on site soon, so you can check the agenda. And we will have the initiative of WHS Student Network, which would be discussed in the Kish, I hope, and if approved, next year it would be discussed here. I would like to cordially invite all of you, your colleagues, and partners to visit us in Iran next spring. In addition to your stay in the relaxing and beautiful island of Kish, you will have the opportunity to continue your journey in mainland and discover other aspects of legacy and beauty of the country if you wish, and also taste the Persian cuisine while you will be exploring the rich culture, art, and poetry. In the end, I would like to thank sincerely the M8 Alliance for putting trust at TUMS and selecting Iran to be host of the 2019 regional meeting. Let me also extend my thanks and appreciation to our colleagues in Coimbra, João Silva and Fernando Rogatero, from the Coimbra University and Coimbra University Hospital for hosting the 6th regional meeting in Portugal, where we learned a lot and experienced a wonderful event. We look forward to seeing you in 7th WHS regional meeting next April in Iran with this motto, United Together for Global Health. Thank you.
Okay, so here are the 4 outgoing presidents and now acting presidents, and that is the head of the M8 Alliance. And let me say one serious word, and that is everything we do is done in complete academic freedom. We interact with everybody who wants to discuss with us our common goal, better health for all around the world on this planet, but we are not being hindered by any kind of politics around the world. We will continue interacting, and as has been mentioned, politics sometimes try to get in the way, but we go wherever we want to go, and especially if politics try to get into the way, we will be there as academicians, free to do what we need to do. So thank you very much. And welcome to Kish Island, the World Health Summit Regional Meeting, April 29-30, 2019. And now we come to one other, you may stay on the scene, whatever. Okay, come to another point of the program, which is equally important, and that is the innovation track. Innovation, I mean, you can do what you can do and then try to kind of translate that into public and global health, but you always need new ideas. So the innovation track is one, and New Voices and the Young Physician Leaders Program, so the new input and the innovation is important to us. In the past years, Minister Grue, Federal Minister for Health, has given out the Innovation Track Award. Now we have a real president, and may I call President Ottmar Wiesler, President of the National Research Centers of Germany, and if I may so, a very good friend, Ottmar, come on stage and The scene is yours, and you are asked to distribute the innovation track.
Well, dear Detlef, presidents, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the WHS Startup 2018 Track Award ceremony tonight. Before we announce the winner of this competition, let me briefly introduce the topic. I think we all agree that we currently experience a truly exciting era for bench-to-bedside translation and for healthcare innovations. And there's breathtaking progress in many areas of biomedical research, basic understanding of disease, and this, of course, opens amazing new ideas for developing strategies towards innovative diagnosis, treatment, but also prevention. And one of the questions many of us in biomedical research are continuously faced with is, how do we exploit all these breathtaking new discoveries in biomedical research, and what are smart and successful strategies for accelerating this process of bench-to-bedside translation? There's a number of tools based on technology transfer and licensing sort of strategies, funding tools to bridge the gap between research and translation. There's a variety of programs to support startups from the biomedical area, and there's lots of attempts to establish long-term interactions between medicine research and partners from industry. And I think what is always the driving force between all the major startup attempts is really cutting-edge basic research into understanding human disease. That is the driving engine which, at the end, moves it all. And one of the key questions we are always faced with is, are we efficient enough in translating many of these exciting new research findings and discoveries from biomedical research into translation? Are we good enough in picking up research findings and enter them into an efficient and successful innovative pipeline? And this is truly a challenging task to which everybody in the system must contribute. In academic research, we constantly have to ask ourselves, do we sufficiently stimulate and promote transfer and also entrepreneurship among our young colleagues in particular? Do we provide proper incentives and rewards for bench-to-bedside research? Do we sufficiently include transfer success into evaluations and recruitment processes? Do we promote an early startup culture in our community and in our countries? Failure is not a problem. It's an incentive to try again. And of course, do we mobilize sufficient financial support and funding for this important task? And a final and particularly important challenge, I believe, for medicine and biomedical research is, do we really train the next generation of young entrepreneurs at an early stage of their career? And do we offer sufficient sort of career opportunities to these talented colleagues as well? I think what we also need is, we need a new quality of cooperation and exchange between medicine, biomedical research, and the biomedical industry world as well. We must invest stronger into cooperations between medical research and applied research by supporting partnerships and alliances between complementary partners, both from the academic and the industry side. We must encourage and reward lateral moves of talents in both directions, from medicine to research, from research to industry, and vice versa. We must provide dedicated support for smart interactions between basic and applied research in the medical arena. We must support communication between different players in the field much more rigorously, and we should also open our labs for applied research and colleagues from industry as well. Another important task for bench-to-bedside research around the world is to mobilize funding sources for startups and for those young talents and brains who would like to establish startup companies based on exciting new ideas. This again is a funding challenge. In most of our countries, we do not have sufficient amounts of seed and gap funding from public sources. We must promote entrepreneur programs on both the academic and the industry side. In many of our countries, and Germany is certainly an important example for this, we must provide incentives for venture capital, because without venture capital, it is awfully difficult to establish startup companies in the world of medicine and biomedical applications. And one important incentive are also startup competitions and awards for particularly promising examples and candidates. And tonight we have a wonderful example for such a startup pitch competition and for an attractive startup award. I think there have been no less than 60 applications for this competition tonight from 19 countries, and all of them have to demonstrate a potential impact on global health. I think this is very encouraging news for the global health community. Now, 10 of these 60 applicants have been pre-selected for a pitch competition, which took place this afternoon here at the World Health Summit, a 3-minute presentation each, and the winner will be presented now. I'm quite certain that it has been a very difficult task for the members of the jury to identify this winning team, and I would now like to ask the members of the jury who are present here tonight and their chair, Ute Weiland, to join me on stage. And Ute Weiland will introduce us to the work of the jury this afternoon without lifting the secret at this point, who is the winner at the end. So please give a big hand to the members of the jury who worked really hard.
Thank you very much, Professor Wiesler. Ladies and gentlemen, dear finalists of the World Health Startup Track competition, it's a great honor for me to represent the jury here tonight. We were very impressed by the diversity and the inventiveness of all the projects. And there were projects who want to improve diagnostic tools, others want to heal cancer or lower child mortality. We also saw new digital tools for rehabilitation and solutions for logistics in medicine. There was even a project with a unique marketing strategy which could also be copied by others. And therefore, the decision was difficult, and we had a controversial discussion this afternoon. But finally, we decided to give the award to a project which has a large impact on many people everywhere in the world. The solution can be used by children as well as by elderly people. And it enables those affected barrier-free access and therefore social participation. It empowers them to live an independent life. And in a further stage of development, we believe that the solution will be accessible for all layers of society because it will be not so expensive. We also think that this great idea can make use of the benefits of the award. And that's why we want to support it with a special access to the World Health Summit and the M8 Alliance Network. And the inventors will receive an exclusive coaching from Flying Health, one of the leading companies builders for health startups in Germany. And with this award, we hope to open new perspectives to a large number of people, but also to the inventor of this project. And now I hand over the envelope to Professor Wiesler, who will announce the winner.
Well, before we do that, do we have all the teams on stage? No. So I'd like to ask all the 10 participating teams on stage as well, and the presidents. That is the ceremony which was agreed upon, Detlef. It's many people on stage, but a lot of brain power. So everybody here. So the winner is from India, Illuminati, and Mr. Rupan Sharma is the coordinator of the team. Everybody is curious now, and we should ask Rupan Sharma to briefly repeat his pitch on stage now to tell us what Illuminati is all about. Is the microphone?
Hi everyone. First of all, thank you so much, the organizers of the World Health Summit, the jury, and for all the people who I've met during this journey of building Manoview and Illuminati, for making this a reality and making my dreams come true. I wouldn't be here had it not been for people like you, people like them, and receiving this award. Thank you. 3 years ago, while researching colorblindness, I had this profound moment when I thought to myself what it would be like to live in complete darkness. Empathizing this with a blindfold gave me a very scary experience. I then decided to head to a blind school in Delhi, where I spent 15 days, only to realize that for somebody who's living in poverty in India, the impact of visual impairment is extremely serious. There exists 85% unemployability rate because more than 90% of this community doesn't know how to read Braille worldwide. In my native country, India, less than 1% of the population knows how to read Braille. For the rest, 99% of them, there is no source of literacy. My team wants to change this. And our mission is to help 100 million of the poorest, 300 million visually impaired people to read. And for that, we have built ManoView, which is the world's first intelligent wearable visual assistant for the visually impaired. This is a multi-utility wearable glove that you wear on your hand. You point your finger towards any kind of text, and it reads out to you whatever is written over there. This is a very inexpensive technology which is meant to replace the Braille language, and it enables the visually impaired people to read printed text. ManoView is a cognitive learning device. This device can help people with dyslexia, people who want to learn a new language, people recovering from a brain trauma, or even people who want a distraction-free reading experience, such as people who have ADHD. We have tested our system with more than 800 users across 12 organizations in India, and we have received a great feedback from them. One of the feedbacks that we received from this audience was the cost. When I built the prototype, when I took it to them, they said, it's great, the device is revolutionary, but what about the cost? Will we be able to afford this thing? And I just asked them for some time. And I just told them, give me some more time, and I will work this out. So after continuous research and development, we have been able to bring this cost down a lot. We are at $60 right now. We want to bring this down to $28. And we want this device to be accessible in the least income settings in the world so that we can have the maximum impact. So we are covering a broad spectrum of people who are from the least desperate to the most desperate. And we want to empower as many people as we can with ManoView. And thank you so much. This is a great honor. I didn't really expect to win, and since we're all in the healthcare space, so each of us here is a winner. But thank you so much. This is such a big honor. Thank you.
Congratulations. Good choice, I would say. Yep.
Just one. Luckily, so this was the first time ever in my life that I have my brother who was there when I was presenting. And the first thing that he told me, that you've changed. And it is the experiences, it is the time that I spent with the community and the people that have shaped my life. It wasn't out of any of my creative desires to become an inventor or a scientist, but it was, I just wanted a stable life. But with the experiences, I just have one takeaway, that believe in your dreams. The most underrated human quality that we have is the ability to bear your pain and be hopeful. These are the two qualities. If you have this, you can change the world. And thank you to my brother who really taught me this and for believing in me before anybody else believed in me. Thank you. Thank you.
So, finally, your younger brother is doing it, huh? So, but this is not the end yet, because now we would like to hand over the certificates to the 9 runner-ups, all of which presented fascinating proposals as well. Let's just read it. The first one is Kaspar. Next. DX Lab Track. Good ones. German team. So now we have Immunify Me. Immunify Me. Sri Lanka. Inviox, Rethinking Pathology. My previous life, I was a pathologist. Yeah, we should. Hi. Magnosko. Who is Magnosko? Okay. Crowdsourcing for Health, SESH. SpotSense. Strand Therapeutics. So this is Vulira app. Aha, interesting app. Manovi. Oh, you have to give it back to him. So this sounds all exciting. It's a pity that we didn't have the time to briefly summarize the proposals, but during the reception which follows, you have all the possibilities to talk to the winners. Detlef, would you like to close?
Just to thank you, the committee, for selecting the startup winners and all the people who participate in the competition. And thank you all for participating in the wonderful ceremonies, inauguration of presidents and startup track. And now the World Health Summit night is opened. Enjoy the evening.
Wir haben ein Gruppenfoto, ne? Group photo with everything.